What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned in to the Iron Man podcast. It's been a while. We left you on a huge hiatus, but we are back. We are back. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about what we've been going through, what's been happening in our lives, and fatherhood, the pressure, the failures, and the successes of it. So let's get into it. I am your co-host, Dre, and I'm joined by my wonderful, amazing, fantastic son, my oldest son, Isaiah. What's going on, son?
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Busy. Got a toddler and a little one.
Yeah. How
4
is
months old.
that?
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a lot of words. Malcolm's been pushing a lot of buttons though. But
So he's not. Yeah, he's 2 now. So
yeah,
he's in that terrible 2 stage. He's testing everything.
absolutely.
You tell him no, he's gonna look at you just like this. Don't touch. And he's gonna just don't touch.
Yeah.
And he's gonna look at you and touch it. He's at that age now.
Yeah. He's a lot of fun. Ball of energy, running from the time he starts the day to the ends of the day. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, but extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
Huge blessing. Keeps me on my toes. So
yeah, that's how they learn. They learn through touch and running and playing, especially young boys. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and you have a 4-month-old now, right?
Yeah,
4 months now. How was that? Are you guys sleeping through the night?
Yeah, she's been sleeping through the night since she's about a month and a half old.
That's dope.
So, we had Malcolm sleep through the night when he was 2 months old. So, we didn't really want to subscribe to the sleepless night kind of thing.
Yeah, and even now, you tell Malcolm to go to bed, he goes straight to bed.
Yeah,
he may stay awake for a little bit.
No, he goes to bed. He'll lay there. I've seen it. He'll just stare at the ceiling, and eventually he'll go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, great kids. Great kids. They got some structure, but they're great kids.
Yeah. So having a toddler, like, and now well, she's no longer a newborn, but a baby. Like, how is that?
She's such a sweetheart, man. I just like most of my day with her is fun. It's not. It doesn't feel like a chore or anything like that.
Yeah.
She doesn't really cry that much. Just a lot of fun, a lot of not play fighting, but just playing around, getting her senses, and she laughs a lot, smiles a lot, and she's a joy to be around. And it's great. It really is.
And how's Big Bro with her? Like, does Big Bro even? How is he now? Because it's been him for 2 years, and then boom, who's this little person in my life?
Yeah. So with him, at first he didn't show much interest. He didn't really know what to make of her. He didn't know what to do with her. Now, he'll like jump around her if she's on the bed. He'll jump around her and kind of freaks everybody out. And he definitely tests his limits. He wants to, like, sometimes he'll poke her and push her. Like, he just wants to know where the boundaries are as with anything else. The other day, I think he tried to step on her, like, because he didn't know. Like, how, I don't know. I like watched him put his foot on her and try to apply pressure, and I was like, I'm like, boy, you have no idea what happened to you actually finish what you're doing.
Don't.
Yeah, I was like, are you nuts? And he's like,
yeah. You see, you and your brothers are 5 years apart, like each. So it's you, then Nathaniel. You guys are 5 years apart, and then Nathaniel and Gabriel 5 years apart. Yeah, so like that kind of stuff we didn't have. Like, you weren't trying to like test Nathaniel and see what you can and cannot do with him. It was like, I think, like a 4.5 year difference between you guys. So yeah, you already know. Okay, this is the baby. I need to be delicate with him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Malcolm doesn't understand. He understands it now, but in the beginning, he had no idea what to do with the baby.
Hmm.
He wants to hold. He likes to hold the baby, which is nice. He like
Yeah.
he like do like this, and then we put the baby in, and then he's like, "All right, I'm
Hmm.
done. Get her off me. I'm done."
Yeah. 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 It's beautiful to watch them grow, especially at the younger age.
Hmm,
Um, like your youngest brother's now going to be 15 in less than 2 weeks.
that's nuts.
He's gonna be 15. Like Gabriel's gonna be fit. So I haven't seen that, and there's a 4.5 5 hour uh, driving difference between us. So
Yeah,
I'm not able to see her and him grow up
yeah,
as closely as I would like. But thankfully, Lauren sends us
yeah,
pictures almost every day.
yeah,
So I feel like I'm there in essence. But yeah, like watching them grow, just like I watched you guys grow, it's a beautiful thing because you start seeing them change, you start seeing them mature,
yeah,
you watch them learn as they're doing things. And I'm sure even now with the baby, watching her develop. Is she
yeah.
turning over yet by herself?
She turned over for the first time the other day. She rolled over. Yeah,
Dang, I missed it. See?
Tessa
Yeah.
did too. I was
Mhm.
alone. She's like, I missed it, but
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, she laughs a lot. Like if you smile, she
Hmm.
smiles. Like she has,
Yeah.
she's very she's so sweet,
She's social.
very very social. Yeah,
Hmm.
but I can tell like she's very like she's aware of other people's emotions because she'll mirror what other people are doing.
Mm.
She's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sweet, very sweet.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah.
So now you're at a place now where you have like two babies in the home,
Mm.
watching them grow. Like, are you prepared for having them go to school?
Um. Yeah. Like a lot of times when I'm like going about my daily business, or I have time sitting down and I have time to reflect. A lot of the things I'm thinking about is what to do with their old when they're older, and a lot of
Mm.
times I have to slow myself down to actually enjoy them when they're young because I do think about that stuff a lot. Um, the kids, as far as Malcolm, he's 2.5, so he'll be 3 in March. No, he's not 2.5. He's almost 2.5. And we're thinking about schooling options. Private school and or homeschooling. Those are really the options
Mm.
for us. And so we're leaning more towards homeschooling to try it out.
Mm.
The church that we go to is a huge community around homeschooling. A lot of the mothers that homeschool their own kids, and they end up to be really, really academically inclined that way because they have a safe environment and they've you remove all the kind of bullying and all of the nonsense that
Mm.
comes with public school.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and there's a lot of stats out there that you can look up for yourself um, about kids who do well when they're homeschooled all the way up until college, and they do college and actually perform really highly in college
Hmm.
because they have a similar atmosphere at home. Like high school, they babysit you. Junior high school, they babysit you. Homeschool, that you're not really babysat. A lot of it is just like, okay, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. You learn, ask questions, but there's just a lot of
Yeah, less hand holding.
yeah,
Yeah, where I get it. Like you're working more independently at home,
yeah,
and a lot of what you're learning is through self discovery and
yeah,
self learning.
yes,
College, almost all of college is self learning. You can get
exactly,
an hour lecture from your professor,
yeah,
but at the end of the day, you don't learn out unless you go back and study. You don't learn unless you do the research and write papers.
yeah.
So I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I get it.
and professors for the most part, at least when I was in school, they weren't like Isaiah, you didn't hand in your homework. They did not none of that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, bro, you messing up your own money. Like I'm getting
Hmm.
paid either way,
Yeah.
and they don't mean to do that, but they want students who take it seriously. They'll give you their time as long as you're willing to put the time in as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're like, hey man, I get paid either way.
Hmm.
I'm
And,
doing pretty well,
and you're paying the tuition either way.
and you're paying the tuition.
So it's like, trust me, you've already paid the tuition. I'm
Right?
already getting paid.
Exactly.
Whether or not you do the work, it's on
Exactly.
you. It's like that in homeschool too. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so I know a lot of concerns of people who homeschool is what about them socially? What about a lot of other
Yeah.
things? That's why I think it's important to have a community around you that also homeschools, and you can have those social interactions, whether it be at church or just having frequent play dates. It just requires to be more
Yeah.
intentional. You also have sports. There's a lot of other things that you can do.
There's
Uh,
homeschooling networks everywhere, so you can find
yes,
a homeschool network. Just
yes,
Google homeschool networks in wherever you live.
yes, absolutely. And
100%.
also each kid is different.
Yeah.
We think for Malcolm, he probably benefit more from just from homeschooling, just because I noticed that he's at times just extremely, extremely shy, and he doesn't really want to talk to other people, but we're able to communicate with him really well. And so for Malcolm, we might think it'll work pretty well. But for Sayla, I don't know. She might be extremely social. She might want to, you know,
Be around. Yeah.
be around, a lot of the kids. So it's a case by case basis.
Hmm.
Um, you can't paint everything with a broad brush. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
here's a question, right? I remember years ago a friend had a son, and when her son was born, she fell in love with her son. Like, both the couple loved the son, and when she found out she got pregnant again, she was concerned, asking, like, how can I split my love between two children?
Mm,
Like, I can't see how I can split my love between my firstborn and now this baby that's growing inside of me.
mm,
And then she was afraid of that. But then when she had the baby, it was like, okay, I don't split the love. I give them the same amount of love. So I give 100% love and 100% love to both.
mm.
How did it happen for you after you had Malcolm? You guys was like um wrapped up in him and watching him grow and loving him, and then boom, here comes Selah. And now you need to divide that love, or not just divide it, but you know give the love, the same amount of love you're giving to Malcolm to her. Like, how did you transition into that?
So it's like, I don't know. The analogy that just came to mind is like, um, you have like a cup of water or a cup of
Hmm.
whatever. It's full, and you give. You're like, okay, how am I supposed to have a drink and also give my child a drink? Like, I only have so much water. Like, I only have so much of this limited
Mm,
resource. How am I going to do it? And then I feel like um, the Lord will give you another cup with more
mm,
water in it. And then
yeah,
the
yeah.
more kids you have, you get another cup. So it's just like, I feel like you just get an abundance of it. Um, I don't know. I mean, you talk to some parents and they're like, I can't do it. It's too much. Like, I can't handle more than one kid, or I can't handle more than two kids.
Hmm.
And so for every parent, it's different. But for our case, we found it was just, you get more love to give.
Mm,
I don't feel like I run out. It just because I love him and I want to be around him.
yeah.
I think if I didn't want to be around him, I'd probably be exhausted, but I do. Um,
Hmm.
and so, yeah, with Malcolm to Selah, they're completely different. They act different, and so I love them for who they are,
Hmm.
and so I love them differently.
Yeah.
The same way, with you and my ma, you guys are completely different people,
Hmm.
act different. How you would interpret love is different than how she would interpret love, and so I
Hmm.
technically love you guys differently.
Yeah.
Same thing with Nathaniel, Gabriel, and me. You would get us all different gifts. You wouldn't get us all the same gift. We wouldn't value it the same,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah.
therefore you love us differently.
Yeah. And that's a
So
good point.
yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah. Like, like you guys definitely didn't have the same interests, and getting you guys all the same gifts when you guys don't share the same interests is actually a very good point. A very good point.
yeah.
But
I,
there,
I feel like I feel like it would be like you would get us all. I don't know, like Gabriel likes video games, and we don't even like the same video games. So it's like even that's tough. But it's like you
mhm,
got all his video games. I'd probably trade it with Gabriel to get something else that he has that I actually want,
yeah,
and then he would take the other video game.
mhm,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
Nathaniel
that's
probably money.
yeah. And with the different interests, right? How do you reconcile the differences in their gender?
Um,
So it's one of those things where um, when Malcolm's 16, he'll be able to do some things that Taylor can't because she's a girl. Like, how are we going to reconcile that?
like what? Like, give me an example of something you feel like um, that Malcolm be able to
Um,
do that they can't do.
uh, hmm.
Like date or
Or
stuff like that. Like, do you
well,
feel like you
we
feel
could,
like
so the thing, the easy thing. Like, I don't want to go dating because we could talk about that and everybody talks about that. Let's say
yeah,
Um, Malcolm wants to go to the park by himself,
Hmm.
right? At 14. But then when Sailor gets 14, can she go to the park by herself? Or is she gonna need people to go with her to make sure that, she's safe?
Um, hmm. There's a couple factors. I
Mhm.
think where do you live um, is like a big one. I think if I lived where you live, like in New York tri-state area, where there's a surplus of just kind of dudes just chilling, wandering, and I'm aware of that. Obviously, I would
Yeah.
scope out the area before I let the kids go there. Then I think I'd be a little more inclined to let Malcolm do things that Sailor wasn't.
Mm.
One, because he's older,
Hmm.
so they're not the same age, and two, unfortunately, the world that we live in currently, um, I understand that um, there is a such thing as um, sexual abuse, sexual advances
Hmm.
from men to women. There are people out there who think that women are lesser, and they think they're able to talk to certain women a certain way, and I'm aware of that. And unfortunately, at certain times, I probably thought, um, if I saw a chick by herself, I'd be like, oh, like there's no dude around. I could probably go up and just like talk to her, and it'd be no issue. Versus if there was a couple girls around, I probably would be like, I don't really want to you know go about this long drawn out conversation
Yeah.
with all these different people. And so I would definitely use wisdom. Long story short, um, it it really does depend.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it really does. If I live where I live now in the park across the street, um, probably not. Like if Malcolm's 16 and she's 14, probably not. But if she's 16,
Hmm.
if he's 18, probably.
Yeah.
Um, it depends how responsible she is.
That's a good
Depends where
point.
she is. Yeah, but I always say when Sally gets to a certain age, um, like we're going to go to boxing lessons together. We're gonna do these things together. Like she's gonna know how to shoot a gun. She's
Hmm.
going to know how to do certain things by a certain age. Like, um, and I'm gonna do it when they're both the same age. I'm not gonna be like
Yeah.
Malcolm's a dude, therefore he can handle it. It's like no.
Yeah.
The
We
same
both.
fighting lessons that Malcolm's gonna get, you're also gonna get. I'm not gonna treat
Yeah.
you differently because you're a girl.
Hmm.
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, so like when they're both, I don't know, 8 or 9 or 11, whatever, we're gonna start to do those things and have those conversations. Um,
Yeah.
so
That's good. My grandchildren are going to be, carrying a strap. I mean, I'm gonna be the safest grandfather in the world. What you say to me? You guys got me. Like,
yeah,
that's cool, though, man. Yeah, giving them the same experience. But I think that's the thing, though. Like, when you're raising like I have 3 sons, I didn't have to worry about that. And even me growing up, there were some things that Alicia was able to do that I could not, and vice versa.
like what? Like what was she able
Um,
to do that you weren't able to do? I thought it'd be the
uh,
other way around.
no, and vice versa. What I'm saying, and vice versa.
Oh, gotcha.
Certain things, yeah. Um, People like certain family members would be more apt to do something with Alicia
Yeah,
before they would do something with me, and vice versa.
yeah.
Certain that, Uncle Jake always pulled me, and we did a lot together. But then Dee Dee always pulled Alicia, and did things with her together. So I grew up understanding that our experiences would be very different
Mm,
because she's a girl, I'm a boy. It's going to be different.
yeah.
I don't know if my mother felt the pressure. I'm not sure if she felt the pressure, but it was like almost natural that our experiences were different
Mm,
because I was a boy and she was a girl. When I was younger, I didn't realize, I didn't understand it. I thought that she had more opportunities than I did. She had more opportunities to travel, all that stuff, and I
yeah.
was stuck home often. But but then I was able to do things that Alicia was not able to do. Like I'll be out like late with my friends, down the block, and Alicia would go home a little earlier, or be with us. You know,
Right.
so yeah, we had different experiences because we were different genders, but I think parents have that have to wrestle with that without trying to make it seem like one gender is getting more than the other or have more freedom than the other.
Mm,
So that's going to be a tough thing. I'm going to be loving seeing how you and Tess manage that in the future. And I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to do it well. I know you guys are going to do it well.
yeah,
Yeah.
we get the question of, is Malcolm going to protect her? I'm like, she's going to protect herself first.
Right.
Like I think that's kind of I think that's kind of unfair to her because she's not. That implies that she'll be helpless, and she's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna be helpless. Not
Yeah.
Malcolm being there is like, oh, that's more of a problem, but she's in her own right is going to
Yes.
be able to intellectually, emotionally, and
Mm-hmm.
physically be able to do what she needs to do.
Yeah. Michael's going to have her back.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be the one necessarily,
yeah, he doesn't
you
have to
know.
fight for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
not necessary.
That's good. That's good. What do you have you found any moments of pressure now having two children in the home?
No,
No, it's pretty easy. It's
no,
flowing.
yeah, no, I don't feel like. Yeah, I don't know. I think probably because we have such a big family. It's like
Yeah.
I honestly feel like my house is like sometimes too quiet
Hmm.
because I'm like used to like the noise and like all the stuff that's going on around. So it's like as far as like the pressure, you mean just like having more kids in general, like being able to.
Kids, watching two kids, raising two kids. Um, if you're watching Sailor, and then you hear a crash in the kitchen, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening over there?" Like, do you find
No,
any
no,
kind of
no,
pressure with that? Yeah.
no, no. I'm not wired. I'm not wired. I don't think like that.
Mm.
Um, I can definitely see that I can definitely feel the temptation of like, okay, I got a girl, I got to sound, beef up and just
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's just like,
Go
no,
get your shovel. Go buy a shovel and your shotgun.
no. I don't think there's any, I don't think there's any, need for that.
No.
At least not yet. That's not required. Right now. My kids just need to be loved and
Yeah.
led and all that stuff.
Hmm.
There's a time and place to be protective in this, but I like to think those times are more far and few between. Um, there's not, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty chill,
Okay.
pretty chill for the
Hmm.
most part.
And how's the wife managing, like, or and adjusting to having two children in the home?
She's funny because like she she's like, I want like 6 kids or like 7 kids, and I'm not against it, but I'm also not like gonna be
Oh,
like,
yeah,
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 let's
mm,
do it. Like
yeah.
I'm not
It's like
so.
let me count the cost. Yeah, because right now we got two. It's like,
Mm,
yeah, it's kind of cutting it close. All right, you want
yeah,
six? All right, let me see if we can make this happen.
yeah. I think the more kids I have, the more I have to seek the Lord more because
Definitely.
seek first the kingdom of God and all things shall be added onto you.
Hmm.
So that also includes bills. That also includes food. That includes a lot of different
Hmm.
things. And yes, the more kids you have, the less money you will be in your bank account. That's just kind of how it works. There's more
Hmm.
opportunities to spend money the more kids you have. You go on a road trip, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 mouths to feed, or 5 or 6 or
Hmm.
7. It just gets more expensive. That's how it goes.
Well, that's why you buy a big cooler with a lot of ice,
Yeah, a lot of
bread,
sandwiches.
bread, mayonnaise, mustard,
That's
cold
it.
cuts. Yeah,
You just gotta be more creative.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah. They don't need a 5 course meal,
No,
or hit up the dollar menu at Wendy's on the way.
it's not even a
Yeah,
dollar menu anymore. It's like $1 and like
yeah.
thirty
This
seven cents. Like it's just kind of the dollar menu's dying, unfortunately.
inflation, like
Yeah,
Dollar Tree is now $1.25 tree. Everything went up.
it's missed. That's what's it called? I feel like
False advertisement.
yeah, I feel like it's false advertisement. It said
Yeah,
dollar dot 25 tree.
yeah. Like Family Dollar. I go into Family Dollar, and nothing to dollar in Family Dollar. Not even the candy anymore. Oh no, I'm lying. I did buy watermelon Sour Patch Kids today for $1.
Mm,
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
you did
today.
that
Yeah, just this morning after church. But
nice.
yeah, man, like, so fatherhood is one of those things that, like, I love, and it's not like, you know linear. Like, you have highs and lows in fatherhood. You have successes, you have failures. It's not necessarily perfect all the time or any other time.
Right.
Like it's one of those things. Parenting in general is one of those things where you're just discovering how to do things. Because first off, there's no cookie cutter, um, you know, menu or plan to follow
Mm.
when it comes to parenting, especially when it comes to being a father. And we go through highs, we go through lows, we go through failures, we go through successes, and there's pressure also.
Yeah.
And watching you grow and seeing you go from being a husband to a father, and now a father of two, it's a blessing to see.
Yeah.
It's a blessing to see. You know,
It's a blessing to experience for
that's
sure.
that part. Yeah, that
Yeah.
part. You
Yeah.
know,
And
um,
I'm excited to have more kids.
mhm,
I'm excited to have more kids. I really am.
yeah,
So more personalities, more. I just see it as more joy.
hmm,
I mean, obviously, there's more opportunities for things to go quote unquote wrong because you have more human beings you're responsible for. So
hmm,
your attention is limited. You only have so much of it. It's like a finite resource. Like, you know, there will always be 24 hours in a day
hmm,
nonstop. But the kids will keep going. Therefore, your time becomes less and less with each kid. So I mean, there's opportunities for bad, but there's also great opportunity for good. Um, so
yeah, yeah. I like me personally, like being a father, there's a lot of pressure, uh, and a lot of highs and lows, and like you have an opportunity um, now with the having two parents in the home and being able to balance out your responsibilities when raising two children, right? That's very important. Like, how do you guys, how are you finding being a father and balancing out being a father with and the responsibilities of being a parent with your wife?
well, one, we have to be in agreement with the things that we do with the kids.
Hmm.
I think if one parent is quote unquote the disciplinarian, another parent is the quote unquote nice guy or bad, the nice guy, and one person is the bad guy, that doesn't work. I don't see it to be effective. I think you need to move in unison, be in agreement with what's going on with the kids,
Yeah, yeah.
where are we leading them, how are we leading them,
Hmm.
where, even more so with us because they're going to be homeschooling, even more so because we're now, one of their teachers, like, actively with academics.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
parents are teachers from the time that the babies are conceived.
yeah,
Kids are learning all the time, and let's not just look at teaching as academics, the ELA, math, and core subjects.
yeah,
They're always learning, and even with like just in life when they're communicating, they're learning how to talk. Reading and writing isn't a subject in ELA. It's a way of communication that should happen. So we teach reading and writing because it's a form of communication, not something that they could learn in school.
mm,
Math, same thing. They're gonna, we need math in life because math is everywhere,
mm,
everywhere. So like you are the child's teacher, parent. You are the parent, teacher. You're both all in the same. So
mm,
like parents are teachers. Teachers are teachers. Like you can't be a good parent without being a good teacher, but
mm,
you can be a good teacher without being a good parent,
yeah, right,
right? It's the same. Yeah, it goes that way. Yeah.
yeah, and no, that's a great point, and as well as they're learning even when you're not actively trying to teach
Hmm. Yeah, they're
because
watching everything.
they're constantly watching, and so it's like, you have individuals who just stick their kids in front of TVs every day,
Hmm.
and it could be academic what you put on, but you're also teaching them like, okay, this is what we do. We sit down in front of the TV and we watch it all
Yeah,
day. So it's
yeah,
like you're not just teaching them, what's on the television. You also start teaching them how they learn, versus, and I think that's, also important. Like trying to actually go outside with the kids and not just saying, hey, go outside, don't come back until it's dark.
but you know what? That's how it was when we were young. Like,
Yeah,
we were outside all the time.
yeah. Like I
Yeah.
like I like to go outside with them. I mean,
Hmm.
like I'm not like, I don't know, like they don't have to. It's not like, okay, Dad's around. Dad's not around. We can have fun now. We can do the things we like to do. It's like, let's do things together, and have fun together. And so, yeah, Tess and I make a conscious effort. And I just want to go on. I don't want to go on a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
But now I find a great resistance today, and I'm sure you probably hear of it a lot as well. But like a resistance to like physical discipline
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah.
Um, and I think if the standard was the culture, then I would just probably do what the culture
Yeah.
is, and the culture is just like, you know, there's no reason to physically address what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the standard for us, the standard for you, um, is the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the
Yeah.
Bible, there, like, the person, whoever's listening doesn't believe me, you can just look up what the word rod means in the Bible, and there's multiple verses on, spare the rod, spoil the child, blah blah blah. We've all heard that, and a lot of that's been misused to abuse children. I'm all
Mm-hmm.
for discipline children. I'm all
Yeah.
about abusing children, and there is a
Mm-hmm.
very thin line. One of them being your emotional state,
Mm-hmm.
another than being your intent. If your intent is to hurt them, you're not
Mm-hmm.
disciplining them.
Yep.
Your intent is that they don't hurt themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore this is a lesser punishment.
Yeah.
For example, Malcolm loves to play with the outlets. I don't know why. He just
Yeah.
loves to mess with them. Well, he doesn't love it anymore, um, because I literally would sit there and he would reach for it, and then he'd grab a fork and just something that really conducts electricity. So I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this kid's really got it out to get electrocuted.
Well,
I
his thing is he wants to learn. Like there's a hole.
Yeah,
This can go inside the hole. Let me see
exactly.
if it fits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I sat there
Okay.
with him, and I sat
Yeah.
there and I watched him reach for it until I got to a point. I'm like, okay, no, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wah, wah. Hug him, kiss him, put him down. Puts the fork in there again. Malcolm, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. Wah, wah. Hug, kiss, put him down. I think after the fourth or fifth time, he didn't even try to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you could like put things in there to obstruct them from putting the fork in there. But what happens when he learns to do it and I'm not around?
Yeah.
So it's just, I think discipline. I can't mention being a parent without discipline, because
Yeah.
if you don't discipline your children, I don't think you necessarily are loving them to the capacity that you could be loving them.
Yeah.
And obviously, discipline's a broad term. It doesn't just mean spankings. I think after a child can really communicate and you can communicate to the child really well, I think that physical discipline becomes less and less needed, just because you can kind of communicate with them. But especially when they're young and they can't talk, but they're able to move around and open front doors and kind of do what they need to do. I think physical discipline's a really big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can show this video of a pit bull. Hold on. If I can pause it. Wait, hold on. 1 second. All right. Hold on. It's not gonna let me pause it where I want it to pause it. wait. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. This is funny.
Dre joined.
Watch this. All right, this is the pit bull being trained. Watch this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, pit bull was like, "Nah, I'm good, son. I'm good." Yeah. But not saying that we should be disciplining our children that way. But
No.
they learn.
That's really great. That wow, that was, I've never even seen it done like that. That makes he just literally like, amen.
Yeah. So
I'm
if I
good.
do this, so discipline. So you're saying like the discipline that you're experiencing with children in general is if then, if you do this, then this will happen. We don't want this to happen, so please don't do
Right.
that. It's a clause, and children don't understand that this is for your own safety. This is, for you. There's intent. You mentioned before the intent.
Yeah.
There's no malice. It's a matter of teaching. In this situation with the dog learned a lesson
Yeah.
not to bite that. So
Yeah.
so discipline in its core is about teaching. If we look at discipline, the root word is disciple. All
Mm.
right, disciple means a student or somebody who follows the instruction of another.
Right.
So discipline is all about teaching, and you can't really lovingly discipline a child without teaching them what they need to learn.
Yeah.
So today we look at discipline as beatings and all that stuff,
Spankings. Yeah.
spankings.
Yeah.
There's so many different aspects of discipline,
Yeah.
beyond punishment, beyond um, the rod, beyond um, you know taking things away. It's all about teaching, and all those intertwine will allow a child to learn if it's done
Yeah.
right. I've shared this experience with you when you were younger. You was about um, a little older than Malcolm, and you kept wanting to touch the iron,
Yeah.
right? And I would stop you every single time, but you kept wanting to touch the iron. So one day I said, you know what? Let me put the iron at a very low temperature. All right. I kept saying it's hot, hot. You would not take my word for it until you touched it one day,
Mm.
right? It didn't burn you because it wasn't hot enough to burn you. But that was the last day you touched the iron,
Mm.
you know, um, and you learned your lesson at that point. Like I every time you went to go touch it, I didn't like smack your hand. I would just say no,
Right.
hot, push you away, and then I say, you know what? Let me turn it down low and let me see if he reaches for it. And when you went to go reach it for it, I said, Isaiah, don't reach for it, don't touch it. It's hot, right? And you looked at me and you touched it and you said, ah, right? You pulled back. I looked at it. It wasn't burnt, and then you said, hot. I said, yeah, it's hot. And you never touched it again. You didn't cry. You didn't none of that stuff. You just realized, okay, this is
Yeah.
hot. Let me not touch it anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
I similar experience with Malcolm. Malcolm wanted to keep touching the stove, um, and
Yeah.
so I turned to he just he's like I can't possibly stare at him all day because I have another child. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's make
See, now
this
here's the thing. There's the pressure.
right.
Yeah, there's the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like I physically can't. My eyes can't go different directions like this. So I'm like I have to, especially when I'm feeding her, burping her, changing her.
Hmm.
He's just too quick for me to just constantly do that. So I heard like the clicking of the stove, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna make this real quick. So I turned the stove on or low heat, like you said, and I put his hand way up here so you can feel the heat from the stove.
Hmm.
And he was laughing at first. He's laughing, and I got lower and lower with his hand, and he was
Hmm.
like
It's hot.
and that's it.
Yeah.
He's never even looked at the stove again.
Hmm.
Um,
But
unfortunately, you have people who said that like, oh, that's harsh. What if this? What if that? But I'm
yeah,
like, what if he literally
he
he
goes to
will
touch it.
eventually learn how to turn the stove on. He will actually burn his
Hmm.
hand.
Yeah.
That'll
And
actually hurt.
and the thing is, um, he sees mommy and daddy at the stove.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the stove.
No.
It can't possibly be unsafe because my mommy and daddy goes to the stove. So
Yeah.
I can go there. So if it's on hot, why can't I go there?
Right.
Mommy and daddy goes. So then, you teach them why
Yeah.
without hurting them. Because if you don't teach them why without hurting them, they're going to learn why by getting hurt.
Yeah.
We got to be careful with that. We
Yeah.
got to be, yeah.
You gotta learn the rules of you gotta learn the rules of engagement.
That should be a book, Mom and Dad, The Rules of Engagement.
Yeah.
All right, I gave it to you. You can do that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think when it comes to specifically being a father, I heard a brother say it. He's like, his wife went to him one day, and she said, you're the man. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you set the temperature in the house. When you walk in the house,
Hmm.
the kids will react. They're either going to be on eggshells or they're going to be excited. When you get home, and it's based off of you. You set the temperature. Uh, and so he told me that he was like, don't be like me. When he was in his 50s, now he's getting it. and his kids are all grown. They're like all my age.
Hmm.
It's like get it when they're young, so that you don't have to repent and go to them later and ask them for their forgiveness.
Yeah.
And you can get it when you're young.
Hmm.
Because with that, comes pain and baggage and stuff like that. So he's like, if you
True.
can learn to set the temperature when you're young,
Hmm.
um, when I get home, I'm like, I could just sit on my phone and probably just sit there for hours, but I don't. No one really feels like being selfless when they get home and asking for things you can help with, and because we have two kids and we're gonna have more, um, it's just too much for one. It's a lot for one parent to handle. So I have a lot of respect for single parents who had to deal with all their kids and be
Yeah.
bold. It's I don't I don't think hard is the right word. Like I
Hmm.
don't like using that word. It's like, oh, it's hard. It's like, to me, it's like, what does that mean? Like, why is it hard? To me, it's stretch. It just stretches you. Like,
Yeah.
you know that's a term that you just feel like you're really getting pulled in a lot of different directions, and either you adapt to it and you become more flexible, or you snap. And so we don't want to snap. That's not the plan.
Yeah.
Um,
No. No snapping.
no snapping. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. So we've been at this for about 40 minutes. We're gonna try to keep it under 45, but yeah, man, I'm excited that we're getting this back and started again.
yeah, me
We've been
too.
trying to get this going for like 2 months.
Yeah,
We started for 2 months, but
yeah.
yeah, we got to get this on and popping again, and really hopefully be out there encouraging men and encouraging them in this new time, because it seems like we're going into a new season
Mm,
where even just being a man is up for interpretation. So
mm.
I think we need conversations like this, and I am overjoyed that I'm able to have this conversation with my adult son. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, praise God. This is awesome.
Amen.
I'm excited. Got a lot of good
Amen.
topics to do. So
So we ready. We ready. All right. So I guess you want to close it out.
yeah, yeah. Um, with prayer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Father, I thank you for being the Father of fathers and
Mm,
teaching us what it means to be a father in your word,
yes, Lord.
and to the mothers there who have to be the mother and the father. Lord, we just thank you for what you're doing and what you've been doing,
Mm,
instructing us and teaching us and disciplining us as a good father does,
yes.
brilliant and loving us. And so we just ask for your instruction, your guidance, your wisdom, your revelation,
Mm,
and bless our week until we can get together again. In Jesus' name,
in
Amen.
Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not done so yet, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so it'll let you know when we go live with our live podcast. So, until the next I Am Man podcast, I am Dre,
I'm Isaiah. We'll
and
see you
we are
later.
out. Peace.